You won't believe what they spent your money on. Loans for Lambos, used car prices are plummeting. Now, while the American households had to deal with layoffs and bankruptcies during the health crisis, there were others who saw it as an opportunity to buy real estate and very, very, very expensive cars. And you might be wondering, well, what's the problem with that? It's their money, right? Well, the problem is that they cheated the system and they took money that was meant for people who actually needed it, especially small businesses. Now, we're also talking about the student loan forgiveness plan and how a lot of these people may have made a very terrible mistake with their money. So let's go ahead and start up with a very startling number. Were you aware that 1 in 3 federal student loan borrowers spent money that they thought was going to be forgiven? Now, hold on. Before you even comment on this rash decision by a lot of these people, we got to understand that this administration announced this thing like it was a done deal. Don't believe me? Here it is. Check this out.
My campaign for president, I made a commitment. That would provide student debt relief. And I'm honoring that commitment today. Using the authority Congress granted the Department of Education, we will forgive $10,000 in outstanding federal student loans. In addition, students who come from low-income families, which allowed them to qualify to receive a Pell Grant, will have their debt reduced $20,000. Both of these targeted actions are for families who need it the most. Working and middle-class people hit especially hard during the pandemic, making under $125,000 a year.
Yep, that sure sounded like it was gonna work, huh? However, you gotta think about this from a different perspective as well. Why are you spending your money on frivolous things when you can't even afford to pay down your debts? Shouldn't you be prioritizing that first? Do you really expect taxpayers who did not take on that loan to pay for your debt? Meanwhile, some households are left to stretch their budgets? Because I know a lot of people who want to take a vacation, maybe buy a new car, put a down payment on a house, replace their old smartphones, but they can't. They can't because they know they can't afford it. But what are your thoughts on this? Now let's get back to that whole deal with loans provided by the health crisis, right? Now it's come out that this PPP loan system that was supposed to be helping to save small businesses stay afloat during the pandemic, it did more harm than good as it was just so easy to deceive. So what did these fraudsters do with the money that should have gone to the people who actually needed it? Well, get this. Tens of thousands of these people bought vacation homes, private jet flights, jewelry, stunting on the gram, gold Rolexes, hotel stays, plastic surgery. Oh yeah, plastic surgery. And let's not forget about the Lamborghinis and vintage Jaguars, meanwhile taking billions of dollars away from taxpayers. Can you guys believe that? Now, I don't normally wish ill on anyone, and I really don't now. But these people chose to hurt others while they enjoyed all of this money that could very well have helped a lot of people. And I guess this is why some of them are probably gonna be facing jail time, more than 30 years of jail, by the way, and they deserve it. Now, I wonder what they're gonna do with those Lambos. Is the government gonna take them? Are dealerships gonna be holding bidding wars over them? Now, I'm asking because it was a used car, right? And used cars are now plummeting like a rock, with one of the biggest drops that it's had ever since the height of the pandemic happening just recently. And it's not happening everywhere, although you're bound to see car lots that have a little bit more inventory than they used to.
Used vehicle prices were a major focus for economists heading into the numbers. We just spoke to Stephen Junot, Bank of America Securities, a U.S. economist with us. He talked about used car prices, that they would be a major factor behind deceleration in core inflation. And indeed they were. Joining us now for a deeper dive, Yahoo Finance reporter Pras Subramanian, who focuses on autos. So what's going on there, Pras?
The used car market, like you mentioned, very interesting here. For June, down 0.5% compared to May, and down a whopping 5.2% year over year. That's a bigger drop than we saw in May's report of 4.2%. So we're seeing that actually come through here with that CPI data, that used car market moderating. We had some Edmunds data that we got recently from Edmunds direct to Yahoo Finance. They're showing the same thing: used car market down 0.6% month over month and down 3.7% year over year. That's at the retail average transaction level.
And as the demand weakens for these cars, we're bound to see even more price cuts, as they're gonna have to do something to unload a lot of this extra inventory. And it's also a time where investors can make a killing. I mean, if you've been holding back on a big purchase because you've been, watching this channel and you've been understanding how these different business cycles and economic cycles work, then all of these deals are bound to be showing up for you. Are there any cars that you guys have your eyes on right now? Now, on that note, let's go ahead and switch gears to electric vehicles and the reality of just how much money you're gonna be spending to get one of these machines. Now, before I begin, if you made it this far in the video, do me a favor, drop a quick like for the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel. But seriously, before I begin, I'm probably gonna get some negativity with people pointing out, well, Ron, you're so negative, unsubscribe, dislike, Hold on, guys, hold your horses. I get it. Some of you guys are thinking, EVs are the future, and I'm only spending X amount of dollars on electricity, and I'm getting X amount of miles on it. Fine. You're doing well, and I'm happy for you. But you also have to let people know of the possible expenses that you also face with an EV. I mean, just look at this story. A Rivian owner got into a fender bender, and they're now saying that the repair cost is gonna cost $42,000. Now, the thing is, the owner of the car thought that the incident was pretty minor. And, while he didn't think that it was going to be cheap necessarily, he also didn't expect that the repair would cost over half of the starting price of a new R1T pickup. And of course, I gotta ask you, are you looking to buy a Rivian or EV anytime soon? Now, if you're buying a new car, it is best to have a garage or something, because if you live in Antioch, California, as large group of burglars are wandering through different neighborhoods and they're breaking into cars in the middle of the night.
Imagine it's 2 a.m. You're awakened by your home security system. When you check the video, you see this disturbing sight. Multiple people in hooded sweat tops, their faces covered, roaming the streets, breaking into vehicles, including the cars in your driveway.
Oh, man, when I seen them, I didn't know what's happening. I was like, man, I'm trying to go to the garage. I'm not going to go out there by myself. It was like about 10 of them.
It is unusual that many people, a large group, would go around and be looking in the cars and walking in the neighborhood. This happens frequently, but usually it's 1 or 2 people and there's a car associated. On this evening, it was just a large group of people that were wandering the neighborhood.
It happened in the early morning on July 6th in the Country Hills neighborhood in the city of Antioch. The person on the phone says his car is the one being burglarized in the video. He asked not to reveal his identity.
Now, you gotta wonder at some point, what is happening in our country, right? Years ago, you'd be fine if you left the car unlocked. Okay, many years ago in certain parts of the country, but even if you left your bag in there, no one would mind. No one would necessarily try to break into your stuff. But nowadays, you gotta be very vigilant. You gotta watch your belongings, gotta watch out for your family members, your neighbors. Why? Because there is always someone out there that wants to take it from you. It's just crazy. Now, some believe that there is a chance that these thieves came from somewhere else, but where? Well, Antioch is like 45 miles northeast of San Francisco, and we all know the troubles that are going on over there. But what are your thoughts on this? Are we now living in a country that's descending toward a lawless society? And speaking of San Francisco, it feels as if you can't talk about doom and gloom and miss the city by the bay. Now, we've seen plenty of personalities up and leave San Francisco because they see it as a lost cause. And I want to ask you guys, because I know you guys are sharp and you give it to me straight. Why did all this happen? Is it mainly because of the people, or is it because of the politics put forth there? Have they become soft on crime? You guys are open to tell me in the comment section down below. Now, I want to end things with a lighthearted story because why not, right? So a Kentucky man recently found almost 700 pieces of gold coins from the Civil War period in his field. Gold coins that are rumored to be worth millions of dollars. Amazing, right?
Last month, the man found more than 700 rare gold coins from the Civil War era. It's unclear where the man lives. He's also chosen to remain anonymous, which is probably smart. The collection is being called the Great Kentucky Hoard. The coins date back to between 1840 and 1863 and are worth, get this, around $2 million. Experts say people used to bury their money during the Civil War. The coins are now for sale at govmint.com.
Now, I wonder how it would feel to find buried treasure in your backyard. It must have been exhilarating. Now, before I go, guys, I just want to say if you made it this far in this video, definitely drop a quick like for the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate the support, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.